This week on The Amazing Race, teams raced to Stockholm, Sweden, and this time around it was married couple Todd and Ashlie who were unfortunately last to the pit stop. They join me now via Zoom, guys. So good to speak with you. How are you?
Blake, doing great. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to speak with you guys. I am a newlywed, and so watching your guys' kind of journey on the show is just kind of funny to me because I think about my wife and I competing, and I think we would have competed the exact same way you did. So let's just start with this. Tell me about your overall kind of journey and experience on the show.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think I said it last night, we've had the high highs and low lows on this race. But it was an experience of a lifetime. I wouldn't have done it with anybody else. I would do it again in a heartbeat. But I think overall it was incredible.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, congratulations on your recent marriage, by the
Oh,
way.
thank
That's
you.
awesome. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things where it tests you. It tests your marriage. It tests who you are as a person, as a husband, as a wife,
Yeah.
as a friend, all that. So it was just like an amazing experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I'm curious to know too, something I love asking teams from time to time is like, what was your guys' preparation like for coming on the show, if there was any at all?
I feel like we watched a lot of seasons. We took a lot of notes. And I think one time because I'm afraid of heights. And so Todd was like, we should go rock climbing. Let's try to do something that's a little more getting you out of your comfort zone, which that was terrifying. And I hated every part of it. But I think really just trying to watch other seasons and see other teams' strategy and how it worked or didn't work for them.
Yeah, Ashley was preparing in a funky way. Like she bought a book of Europe and was like of maps of Europe and like let's study the maps. I'm like, we don't know where we're going. We don't even know if we're going to Europe. Like you can't memorize all of Europe.
I was
right?
like, watch me memorize.
Right. Let's just concentrate on us and how we communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you did end up in Europe, so I guess there was some kind of perfect preparation there. There's something you touched on that I want to focus a little bit more on here for a second, which is overcoming fears. We see that you were absolutely terrified to skydive, which is also something I share. I don't think I'd ever do that. So tell me what it's like kind of, going on this show, doing all these crazy things you probably never thought you would do and overcoming some of those fears.
I will say it's an incredible feeling when you do conquer a fear. When we found out that we were going to be skydiving, I was in my head from that moment until we jumped out of that plane. And I was really contemplating like, hey, I don't think that I can do this. I'm terrified. I was having trouble breathing. And, thank goodness for Todd because he kept just saying like, hey, you can do this. This is fine. This is nothing. Look how proud the kids are going to be when they see that like their mom like went skydiving. And so
I was like reminding her, hey, if you don't do it, your brother and cousins are going to
they're going to make fun of you
for the rest of your life. Right.
That in the back of my mind. And also just, I didn't want to let this like waste an opportunity to experience something so fantastic.
But let's not get it twisted. I was 50-50 on whether or not she would jump out of the plane. Right. And so like even in the plane, I was thinking there's a chance like I'm gonna jump out and I'm not gonna see her following me. So.
Yeah. And so Todd, he went first and he left me up there all by myself. And when it was finally my turn, I truly was just praying.
But I'm so proud of her. I mean, that was her deepest, darkest fear, right? And she overcame it. Yeah. I mean, that's nuts. Like how many opportunities in life do you have to actually do that?
And now I would do it again. It was so much fun, and I would definitely do it in a heartbeat.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Now, something I really loved about you guys on this season was that you were very vulnerable about the struggles of your marriage, and we even kind of see some of that play out on the race. So, do you feel like in any kind of way that competing on the race together maybe increased the strength of your marriage, or kind of brought you guys to closer in any way?
I feel like depending on the couple, like it could very well take you in a bad direction, or you can choose to take that as a learning opportunity and allow it to strengthen your marriage. I feel like we have been together since high school. I know him like the back of my hand and vice versa. And I always say like, I can tell when something's up by like a twitch of an eye on him. Like I can tell his mood by that. But I really do think that everything that we've been through in life, the good, the bad, the ugly, this was just kind of like nothing in comparison to what we've already been through.
Well, I kind of hit on it on the last mat, I said, if we did this 5 years ago, we couldn't have done it. And I truly, and I know that for a fact, because we weren't in that place then. We were in kind of a harder season of life with each other. And so it was a great time because we really confirmed on the race, like where we are, like we were able to handle that stress and that pressure, because it's really easy to turn on each other if you're not intentional about it.
And going on this race, we said in our audition tape, like this was a celebration of how far we've come in our marriage. Us going on this race was really like a kudos to us for getting through that and coming out on the other end stronger.
So yay, let's celebrate by putting ourselves through the most stress that you've ever had in your life.
Yeah. Well, congrats on 1, overcoming your fear from the last question, and 2, being able to strengthen your marriage and do all these really cool things together. Now, briefly, I want to know, walk me through that last day in Stockholm, just kind of the emotions of it, how you guys are feeling throughout the day, kind of knowing you were in last. Just tell me what that was like.
Well, it kind of started off from the get-go. We get off the plane and we go to a taxi to go skydiving, right? And we tell the guy, like, hey, take E4 North. E4 North. He's like, no, I know the place. It's this way. And so we're going, and I think we're going north, and then we look, and we're going south.
And we knew that with it being a skydiving challenge, that there's going to be numbers that are going to be pulled. And so it was one of those things where if you weren't, if you don't get a good number, it may or may have a bad result. And so when we get there and we pull number 4, we were like, okay. But then seeing Rob and Corey pull 5, I kind of feel like we automatically felt like, okay, this is going to be an uphill battle.
Because we were 4th, but Rob and Corey, with Express Pass, we were now last, basically.
So, and I think too, what my biggest struggle with is just the night before, I didn't sleep well. I was so scared about the jump. That played a big factor into the leg for me. I was exhausted. I felt like I had an adrenaline dump after we went skydiving, and I felt like my energy just kind of dropped. So I think maybe that played a part of it too.
No, but like it was really just after skydiving, we were 4, right? And each person jumped out is 15-minute intervals, right? So that one person drops out, they loop around, next person loop around. Yeah. And so we were like 45 minutes behind first, right out of the skydiving. And then we really didn't catch up at any time. We didn't fall behind either. We just kind of stayed even with and there's really no opportunity to leapfrog.
So to answer your question, I was not happy.
Well, hey, I'll take it. Okay, that's interesting though. I want to focus on the timepiece there for a second, because I think something that viewers are always curious to know, the editing makes it seem like the teams are always really close, or you're actually racing to the pit stop, but a lot of times that's not really the case. So you just mentioned there was 45 increments. So would you say you were 45 minutes behind Steve and Anna Lee, or were you even further behind that getting to the pit stop?
No, I think we were 45 minutes from the beginning of the first, but then they got lost. I didn't realize they got lost. And so we were told we were about 15 minutes behind the other team. Yeah. So, but there's a part where we're rushing to the train. We missed the train by 3 seconds, and then we have to wait for the next train, which was 10 minutes wait. So, I mean, maybe we were only like a good 5 minutes behind.
I think like if we had caught that train,
right? Maybe
would we have been able to have it a little closer than it was? So.
Yeah. Well, your race ended. Yeah, your race ended in the way it was supposed to, and that is just sometimes how life works out. Now, one of my final questions for you. I know you guys spoke really highly of your kids throughout the season. Were they able to watch the show alongside you guys, and what did they think?
I will tell you,
surprisingly,
they could care less.
Oh,
yeah.
I think I will say that I feel like one of their comments was, I'm sorry, you guys were gone for that long and you didn't even get a first place. So I think there's a lot of
they kind of resent us a little bit. And all their teachers, all their friends' parents, everyone's all excited about it. And like my kids are like, hey, I'm like, yeah, dude, like your mom and dad are cooler than you. It's like, it is what it is. Nah, but
I think we watched so many seasons before we went on that we probably just burned them out of it. So but they were proud of me.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like they gave you maybe an unexpected slice of humble pie there. So now you guys, my final question for you, just yes or no. Would you return to the race?
100% yes. like I would go right now. Like in this moment, I would drop everything. Best experience of the life.
We would, yeah, hands down. We go on the race. I'd go on the challenge, put her on Survivor, but anything, right? We're ready to compete. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think I can speak for a lot of the viewers in saying that we would love to see you back on the race, or maybe some other kind of form of reality TV competition. You guys, thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me. Loved watching you this season. And for all of our viewers, Amazing Race Wednesdays on CBS.